Every employee, regardless of whether they put money into the business or not, should sign a confidentiality agreement. Some states, again, like California, don't like you to do non-competes and limit people's livelihoods. But confidentiality is a different animal. The states will always help you protect your confidential information, even things like customer lists, things you don't normally think about, what I would call trade secrets, that protect your business and would damage you if they were released, would hurt your business, would hurt you potentially dramatically. That's confidential information, and you have a right to protect that. And then intellectual property assignments. Founders, employees, contractors, what are normally called work-for-hire contractors. Say you have a website done by an outside party. They own the code on that website until they assign it to the company. And a good attorney will be able to get you a fairly simple, fairly inexpensive assignment agreement to make sure that your IP is properly protected. LLC documentation is very simple across the states. In Arizona, for instance, we have the Arizona Corporation Commission. It's a very simple two-page filing. It's $50. Expedited, I think it was $85. So it's very, very inexpensive to establish a business. In Arizona, they have a requirement, and I think other states as well will have this, a requirement to publish the articles of organization. You have to tell people somehow that you're now in business. It doesn't require, in fact, I don't think any states require an operating agreement, but you should consider it a necessity, an absolute necessity to create an operating agreement among the members and have everyone sign. And then filing and publishing amendments. Every time you make a change to the business, if you add members in, someone takes a majority ownership, if you change your address for service of notice, then you need to make an amendment probably in your state filings. Some important forms we talked about earlier, the operating agreement generally, and you can have different types of equity in there. You have founder, employee, independent contractor forms. You have your intellectual property forms. You have to have a non-disclosure form with outside parties. If you are going to discuss confidential information with third parties, you have to have, before that meeting takes place, a non-disclosure form of some sort. And those are enforceable. If people try to take your ideas, it's, you can have stories about how people weren't protected by NDAs. The fact is most businesses are very ethical. Once those get signed, I think you're going to be pretty safe. We talked about intellectual property. If you're going to be online at all, you have to have website terms of use, website or site terms that people have to agree to. Very, very important in that segment of work. And for public work, you might have volunteers, you might have interns. All of those different types of employment vary by state to state of what you have to do regarding the type of agreement you need, whether or not you have to pay them, whether or not you have to pay taxes for them, and whether you have to do things like get workman's compensation insurance for them. In many states, interns require workman's compensation, but volunteers, for instance, in Arizona, you don't have to get workman's comp for volunteers. What's the difference? You need to talk to a good employment attorney to make sense out of the type of people you have working in your business, okay? And I'd like to wrap up the segment by saying that the LLC operating agreement is a critical document which sets forth all the contractual terms between you and your partners. In many cases, these are all personal friends. Get it done soon, get it done early, get a good attorney to review it, and you'll have a much more happy business, and you'll avoid a lot of the common problems you see in longer-term LLC businesses. When issues come up, if they're handled in the contract, you're not going to have a long, drawn-out dispute with potentially friends or family. Thanks again for being here, and look forward to seeing you again next time.